Now please welcome Erik Huberman, founder and CEO of Hawke Media.
How's everyone doing? We're gonna have to stand a little away from the podium too, so change it up a little bit. So yeah, gonna go through this pretty quick because we're running behind, but basically here to talk about marketing and artificial intelligence and what that actually means. Just a little background, I run a company called Hawke Media. We're the fastest growing marketing agency in the country now. We're actually 4 years old now. We've got a little over 125 people, all with different expertise in different verticals. Everyone's focused on a specific type of marketing. We have a data team, et cetera, just to give you an idea of where we're pulling our information from. So intelligence. Really need to talk about this word because it has to do with AI, artificial intelligence. How it's defined is the ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills. Really important distinction to understand as we get into this, but the ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills. So let's talk about marketing and the history of it. The first time we really started to see advertising and marketing was about the year 35. We saw a lot of vendors and different people back in the day basically chiseling designs onto rocks to show the kind of goods they were selling and trying to put them in different places, being like, hey, you can get a vase or a cup here. As we fast forward, about 1450, we started seeing flyers and brochures. In 1600s is when paid advertising in print began. Then we started seeing in the 1800s billboards and more broad marketing. 1920 radio, 1941 TV, then into telemarketing, which you all I'm sure love. 1980 is when we started collecting databases and actually marketing to specific people and specific databases. 93 is about when digital marketing started. So the important thing to know about marketing up until today is it's always been one-to-many. It's a message that you're trying to hit a bunch of people with the same thing. And that's really what defines marketing, even now, even in digital. When you're doing Facebook ads, you're doing search ads, et cetera, you're defining it a little more targeted, but the transition that we've started to see is more on this one-to-one marketing. So still people are coming up with campaigns, the Geico Gecko. It's a gecko that's going to talk to the entire world about insurance, and we're going to see how many people they can sell. It's coming up with messages that reach a lot of people. The problem is currently everything's really manual. It's people have to actually come up with these messages. People have to, target, have to do this themselves. Automation doesn't really work right now, and machine learning isn't there. So we talk a lot about, and show of hands, who's marketer in the room? Okay, so about half. I'm sure almost everyone in this room being at this summit has heard about programmatic or machine learning. What we've seen, though, is it's just not there yet, and I'll get more into why, but programmatic machine learning from our purview just doesn't have the returns and doesn't have the automation needed. So honestly, it's a shortcut for the person manually managing it to get ads spun up, get things going, but it's a sacrifice for ROI because it doesn't actually, it's not learning. And back to what intelligence is, it's not collecting and gathering knowledge and actually applying that. So one thing that is happening right now, and we've heard this for the past few years, is big data. We're tracking everything. So we have the data we need to kind of step into this more one-on-one marketing that's happening. But again, back to the manual implementation, using that data is the problem. Everyone's got data now. Everyone's got the information they need. But actually using it becomes a real issue. We have, again, machine learning and programmatic, which as we progress, we'll start to get to a point where we can use it, but right now all it is a shortcut for marketers. Anyone know who this is? Show of hands. I'm actually surprised. So the people that didn't raise their hand, this guy is the foremost expert in AI. He literally just took his first job a few years ago as a head of AI at Google. Before that, all he did was work by himself in AI. And this is his predictions. 2017, which this already came true, computer processor will reach the level of a mouse brain. Which again, back to the programmatic and machine learning side, that basically when people are saying they have AI right now, it's saying that, oh yeah, a mouse is handling my marketing. Like it's great, it's going really well. We put a cheese at the end of it, we're gonna sell a lot of things. So that's really where we are. So whenever I hear, and it's really people like me, marketers have turned the term AI into a marketing tool, but it's not artificial intelligence. It's still just if and then statements and algorithms. Starting this year, the memory of a standard $1,000 laptop will reach the human memory capacity, meaning how much you can remember is how much your laptop can remember as of this year. 2023 is actually when a computer's processor will be able to process at the same speed as a human brain. Keep in mind, that just means that it can think as fast, not the same way, But at that point is when you can actually start to achieve true AI. 2029 is the prediction of how long it'll take. That 6-year period is what it will take to train a computer to the point where it's actually artificially intelligent, where it can actually start to think like us. So the first thing to go are blue-collar jobs. So we're already seeing this. McDonald's did it. With the raise in minimum wage, they decided to put a bunch of kiosks in. You just order your own food. I tried it out in New York. Not that I like to admit that I ate at McDonald's, but yeah, this is already happening. We're seeing this in assembly lines. We're going to see this at truck drivers. We're seeing this all over the place. Next comes white-collar jobs. You're starting to see this now. There's a bunch of news about that artificial intelligent lawyer that is helping with legal stuff. White-collar jobs that are based on logic are the ones that are starting to be replaced. So accounting, legal, et cetera. This is the next to go, and this will probably be around that 2029 is when we're going to start seeing more of that. Because there's a lot of nuance. But the last one, which luckily for my team and I right now, creative jobs. Things that feel like they're nuanced. You know, creativity in general is always something that we can't, it's in your gut. You can't really put your finger on it. The problem is with, say, 2035, 2040, when AI is past human capacity, well past it, creativity isn't necessarily as nuanced as we think once you can define it in data points that humans can't comprehend. Like, we don't know why we love that Geico Gecko, but a computer that can think way faster and more complex than we can probably can, and then start to identify ways to market to you. So this is hopefully not what's going to happen, actually. There's a lot of ways to deal with this. And this was a lot funnier when I did this speech in DC. Here it makes a lot less sense. But yeah, there's a lot of ways to work with this. So this is going to be a long process. There's a lot of doom and gloom. Elon Musk thinks the world's going to end. But at the end of the day, like, AI is not going to be necessarily robots that are taking over everything. It's going to be basically additive to the things we're doing for a long time. So first off, like I said before, make sure you're collecting data. Make sure you're actually building a repository, because that's where the people are going to win. The more data you have, the more access to data you have, that's when you can actually leverage artificial intelligence. The next thing is partner with AI firms and partner with companies that are doing this. We have a very firm belief at Hawke Media, and it's worked out that way, that do what you're really good at, and then bring in partners for everything else. Because and there's a local company in Santa Monica called Retina AI that does this already, that'll build algorithms and use their existing algorithms for you to actually be able to read through your data. So instead of trying to build a multi-million-dollar data business within your own business, just partner with one and spend tens of thousands of dollars instead of tens of millions of dollars putting this together, and you'll be able to keep up. So that's something that we really recommend. Also, actually write a plan on how you think this will affect your business. If you assume that your blue-collar jobs, your white-collar jobs, and then eventually creatives are going to be either changed, taken away, or augmented by AI, actually put a plan together of what that looks like so you're not panicking when it starts to happen. If you know that it's coming, if you're a trucking business and you know that your truck drivers are not going to be as efficient, but they may be, if it's like anything like Germany, they still have to sit in the car. So figure out what that means. Maybe now you have an office worker working in a truck. Start to change the way you plan your business and the way you plan your own job. If you know that you're going to be using AI as part of your job, it becomes really important. And last thing, because I've seen this, I came from the music business. Go with the change, don't fight it. Don't decide that I don't care what anyone says, CDs are going to still sell. If you know AI is coming, just make sure to go along with it. This quote was actually a really important one for me. I've been fortunate enough to be a marketing advisor to a company called XPrize. It's a nonprofit in Culver City. Check them out, they're awesome. But he looked at me the first time I met him and said, so if you were to create the Uber to your taxi company, what would it be and why aren't you creating it? Really poignant point, because if you know this is coming, if you know you're going to be displaced by some new technology or some new innovation, why won't you just do it yourself? Why didn't taxi companies start making apps long before Uber? So we're not doing Q&A, but I know I had to burn through this because we're behind, but I would be happy to talk more about this. I've done a lot of research on this. Here's my email address. Would be happy to talk to any of you. And thank you.
Thank you, Erik. Next up is a view from the top, the future of content marketing. Now, please welcome Brandon Berger, Chief Business Officer, The Skim.